I like to know what's going on. I'm a big believer like you can't manage people if you don't know what they're doing and you can't manage the work. But the key is you have to know what they're doing and what the systems are supposed to do. So
Hey there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hausman. Joining me today is a brand new rock star, but he's a good friend of mine. I've known him for quite some time. He's an investor, he's a mentor, and one of the things I find is he's incredibly willing to share the best practices about what has made him successful, and I always appreciate that. He's the CEO of Thumbprint, Tom Rector. Thanks so much for joining me.
yeah, thanks, Kirby. Good to be
Oh,
here. Good.
yeah, you bet, you bet. I mean that. I mean, you have taken time to meet with me and kind of coach me up, and I really appreciate it. So one of the things I know about you is you were running a successful business, screen embroidery, when then you acquired Thumbprint, which, as you know, I'm kind of fascinated by that topic. And so when you acquired them, what, if you're willing to dive in, what
Mhm. Of
made
course.
you pull the trigger on that deal, and what were you seeing that, if that was out there, what were other people missing?
Yeah, um, it was at a time in our organization where we were preparing to scale and we were preparing to get ready for mergers and acquisitions. So we were on the hunt for acquisitions at that point. The opportunity that came to us was much bigger than anything that we anticipated.
Yeah.
We basically doubled in size because of the acquisition.
Mm,
So size ability is one of the things. Like being at a certain size in the promotional product world just puts you into an echelon where you are in the mix of larger conversations with larger companies, and that's really the direction that we were trying to go. Is we wanted to be more in the enterprise level scene, working with the Fortune 100 type customers, and just at the size, actually the size that both companies were just a little bit too small to be on their radars. And coming together puts us up into a revenue figure that at least gets that's like the first checkbox that a lot of those enterprise customers are looking for is like, are you big enough to manage my business? Right.
yeah.
That's really what they're looking for. They don't want to go down the road of, are you capable of managing the business? And if you're not able to fund it. So that was the first thing that we were looking for. And it's something that we're trying to get to. The second big thing was the technology that Thumbprint had. They had a full in-house development team doing integrations, and the integrations are from an e-commerce store into a customer's CRM system or HRIS system, punch outs into billing systems, those types of things that allow us to trigger workflows and trigger orders to come in based off of certain types of needs. So if the easiest thing to think of is for HR is when a new hire is hired, it'll trigger an order into our system. We drop ship a new hire kit out to the new employee. Business cards is another thing. Like to do business cards for 50,000 employees across the country is not something you just want to type in from your HR department, right? So it's like finding ways to automate and streamline some of those processes, and it was a big driver, and like this is the type of a company that we really want to being able to add those assets into our existing tech stack helps.
Yeah, I think that makes sense about the things that you wanted to acquire with the acquisition, right? It's funny because I think so many times we just look at revenue, and obviously the revenue was a part of that, but the technology was a part of that as well. The the thing that pops into my mind with this, especially when you're similar sizes or whatever, is that merging those two companies means merging two cultures. And my guess is there was, two teams, two ways of doing things. What was the hardest part of bringing Thumbprint into the screen embroidery family?
The actual easiest part was the people. Like it was. I mean, we looked at the culture very closely because that is a tough thing, is bringing two different types of personalities together. And one thing that we are grateful for is like our teams were very similar. They got along instantly, and it's like, all right, we knew we did something right. Where we had some challenges though is when in the systems that they were using is they were the ERP systems and even like the accounting systems, like QuickBooks versus Zoho, is what there's the two difference, and they're drastically different. But the training that goes along in bringing teams to get into the same platform, that it there was some frustrations there, and there were some challenges, um, and I don't want to say people got stuck in their ways, but they were just like, hey, we were doing it and it was working, so why am I changing it, right? And it's trying to convince. It's like, I mean, everyone on our team had to change something. Like there was not one person that was had it easy. So it was really communicating and bringing people together just to understand, hey, by bringing these two different types of systems together and creating one simple, similar platform that we can all jump on board, we're basically creating a new opportunity for all of us to to do it in a much cleaner way.
Yeah. Yeah. And at the end, it's easy to look back and go, yeah, of course, that makes sense. But in the middle is where it's the hard part, and you don't know if it's going to
Yeah,
work. And
yeah. I think the hardest part, at least for me, is that I'm a very in the details type of a leader. Like I am in the weeds. I like to know what's going on. I'm a big believer like you can't manage people if you don't know what they're doing, and you can't manage the work. But the key is you have to know what they're doing and what the systems are supposed to do. So at least for the first almost 12 months, just all of my time was just learning. I'm learning how do these new e-commerce systems work? How does the integration work? How do these systems talk to each other? I mean, I would leave the office not because I was working so hard, but because my brain was moving so fast. I would just be so exhausted coming home because I was learning something new every single day, and I would get close into the details just to really understand how they're supposed to work, so that then I can architect, hey, here's how it all works together from every function and every department of the organization.
yeah. And you talked about bringing different systems together, whether it was the accounting or whatever. Was there one, and maybe there's not, but was there one that you're just like, okay, that's the first thing that broke and we had to fix that right away?
Yes. It was the ERP system really because you're on Common SKU
I am. Yep.
platform too, right? So the Common SKU platform is the ERP system, but we were using it in a way where we're using the interface part for the customer experience. Our sales team was building orders and writing quotes into that system, and then we're pulling the data into a new platform, and we were pulling it into Zoho, and then we would create automations behind it so that it would automate um, POs and orders out to direct to print and those types of things. Um, it we were moving too fast. The systems were still developing. So we were building orders and producing invoices, doing all of the creation of the sales process in Common SKU, and then we would export that data into another system, into Zoho, which would then we would create automations to go direct to print and produce a lot of e-commerce type functions. It would all happen in Zoho, but that is not a native function of either of those systems. So we were developing this stuff on our own. Both of those entities were also helping us develop stuff. So we were moving faster than what the capabilities of those systems were. And so we had a lot of internal conversations. I don't know if they're ready for us to do this yet. And if not, will they ever get there? How do we plan for a longer term if we're not sure if this is going to be the platform that we're going to be on forever? So we had a lot of those conversations. Thankfully, we got there, so we didn't
Yeah.
have to pivot, but we did. We experienced a lot of breaks and challenges along the way. Even just, I mean, it was all new. It had never really been done the way that we were using it. So our team was we were troubleshooting things, but there wasn't like a resource that we could go to
Right.
say, hey, here's the right way to do it. We were trying to figure it out as we go.
Yeah, that's the way a lot of entrepreneurship is, I think, sometimes. But that's really cool. So, okay, so final question for you. Now that you're on the other side of it, or at least sort of on the other side of it, you're never completely on the other side. What do you know about finding and evaluating the right acquisition that you wish you would have known when you started?
Yes. There every acquisition has things that are disclosed and things that are not disclosed, right? It's just a part of it. Like you're going to uncover some things that and sometimes it's just not even top of mind to know that you need to talk about it. Here are some things I would look for though. I was like a big key is what the books. How clean are the books? And I'm not talking about, hey, the numbers are correct. I'm talking about the structure of the GL accounts. I wish I would have paid closer attention to that because as we started cleaning the books to structure them the way that they needed to, there was like a lot of open questions of like why is this coded in where in the position that is. So an example is um, some things would be coded into like sales software. Other things would be coded into logistics software. Other things, so it's like, why are they all separated out throughout the P&L rather than all in one section? This is our IT section, right? So things like that took a lot of time to go through and clean. Other things are on the accounting side as well as credits and
Hmm.
um, retainer invoices. Um,
Hmm.
we didn't pay as close of attention to those. And then, so like at some point, there's a cutoff where old company ends and new company begins, right? And when
Hmm.
there's those credits are out there, but if the credits are issued from the old company and the customer wants to apply them to the new company, okay, now who pays for those credits? So then we had to do a lot of back and forth of like, okay, you need to pay me for this because I used those credits that were due. You should have paid those back to your customer, and we used them and paid them to your customer, so you have to pay
Yeah.
me. We did a lot of that back and forth type stuff. Um, and then I think on the other end of it is to we had some people challenges with the the growth of the company accelerated so fast that some people had some challenges moving up into the new world. That if that makes sense,
Yeah.
is if
Yeah.
we had some challenges of like the way that it has always been done and the the laissez-faire type way where it was okay to do some things that way. It changes a lot when you're working with a very conservative professional organization that is expecting us to be on our game and be top notch. But I think at the end of the day, though, our one of my biggest pushes and our organization's biggest pushes is falling back on being obsessed with the customer experience, and we that was our driving force in getting everything together and getting everyone on the same page. Is like, look, the things that we're doing, even though they're taking some time to learn and they're different and they feel weird, it's because we want this customer experience to be so exceptional that they can't they can't go anywhere else, and they should never expect anything less than what we're doing.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. Well, Tom, as always, thank you so much. You've always been so gracious with your time with me, and I always enjoy our conversation. So thanks so much for taking the time. We'll definitely do it again. Okay.
I hope so. Thank you, Kirby.
All right, buddy.
Okay.
Well, that's going to wrap up this edition
Okay.
of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.